There is a strange feeling many Nigerians know but rarely name. The quiet tension that appears the moment you sit down to rest, a heaviness in your chest, an uneasiness in your thoughts, a whisper in your mind telling you you're wasting time. People are working, people are hustling. What are you doing with your life? Are you supposed to be sitting down there? You know? Hi guys, welcome to TJ's view. I know, it's been a very, very, very long time. Like it's been a while. I've not posted anything for almost a month now, and it was not the plan. I actually recorded a video to post, but something happened and I really could not post it. And I know I told you guys I was going to start a new series, which was going to be the Outlier series, but I've decided that why not push that to next year, so it's going to be like a new year, new content, and a new series, if you guys guess what I'm saying. But instead, I've decided that for the rest of this year, for the rest of the year, we are going to work on album reviews. So basically, many Nigerian artists released album all through 2025, right? We all know that. So we're going to do reviews of as many albums as possible. If possible, self, all the Nigerian albums that came out in 2025. Five Dream, right? I know, but genuinely speaking, I've got you guys. Like I mean, you guys are still here. You're still trying to support me even with the break and all. So I have to make sure that I repay you guys. And to repay you guys, we are getting the album review. Everybody say yay! Okay, so now let's forget about all the new topics. Today's topic is actually something else. And it's something that, I thought about during the period I was resting. I feel like this is going to be our last serious topic for the year, which is saying a lot, guys. So let's take it very seriously. CJ, serious. Mm, no smiling. See who said no smiling. Anyways, 1 minute silence for the words that are going to be butchered in today's video. Yeah. So let's get into it. Today's topic is going to be about rest guilt, like as a Nigerian specifically, the guilt that comes with resting. And we're going to explore many things surrounding the topic, like why rest is such a difficult thing to do, or difficult thing to let yourself do as a Nigerian, basically. As I said, last year was to be for the year. Let's resume. And I also got like my script to assist me. So let's get right into it. There is a strange feeling many Nigerians know but rarely name. The quiet tension that appears the moment you sit down to rest, a heaviness in your chest, an uneasiness in your thoughts, a whisper in your mind telling you you're wasting time. People are working, people are hustling. What are you doing with your life? Are you supposed to be sitting down there? You know? And just the many feelings. And I'm not even going to lie, I really felt like this also in the few periods that I did not post anything, because it felt like, oh, what are you doing with your life? Even though I actually did have many things going on, like a lot was going on, guys. I was writing my final midterms. Oh, wishing success, guys. And finals are coming up soon. I've got a lot of projects and stuff, and I'm also working on another thing. I don't know. I mean, I'm not gonna tell you guys. I'm gonna keep the secrets, anyways. So I was working on a lot. So, but I still felt guilty. I still felt like something was wrong. I still felt like I was doing something wrong by not posting, by not updating you guys over here. And I guess that's actually what kickstarted wanting to talk about today's topic. So let's continue. Rest, a basic human need, becomes something that triggers anxiety, shame, and self policing. For many Nigerians, especially young adults, rest is not neutral. It's not natural. It's not guilt free. It's a loaded act. It carries generations of meaning, expectations, trauma, and identity. We explore today why rest feels guilty, especially within a Nigerian environment where culture, survival, family upbringing, religion, colonial residue, and economic pressure blends into powerful conditioning. The goal is not to blame us Nigerians for our hardworking culture, no, but it's to unpack the system that has, made us feel like resting is something we have to be guilty about. And also maybe just release some of the shame we carry. So let's go right into it. Are you ready? Are you ready? Okay, so I know my video is actually long and I'm going to try my best to make this, I don't know, as to finish this as long as I can possibly can. And I'm going to say like, if you play me in the background, do that happily. If you're watching seriously, watch seriously. If you are going to eat, like your favorite show is on, please grab some popcorn. So let's get right into it. So, to understand modern West guilt, we must first understand the colonial frameworks that shapes Nigeria's work mentality. Colonialism introduced a Western capitalist productivity model where you cannot rest. You have to work. You have to be productive. Every single time of the day that you're not making money or gaining value with your life and with your time, it's a waste, at least according to capitalism. So, before colonialism, many Nigerian ethnic groups, including the Yorubas, the Igbos, Hausas, Ijors, Fulanis, Ebibio, had sleeker work systems aligned with seasons, festivals, farming, rhythms, and communal cooperation. Hard work was respected, but rest, celebration, storytelling, music, communal leisure were woven into life. As in, the entertainment, the enjoying the fine things that come with life were a part of life. Just working, 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 working constantly. Results, results, results constantly were not all life was about. So, and for that I deep dive, I also went a little in depth into some pre-colonial Nigerian societies. You guys already know that me and research were like this. So, like, let's just get into it. So, I'll start from the Yorubas, which is a tribe I'm part of, and I could probably, tell more about than I guess other tribes. So, the Yorubas had their own unique measurement of time. What for time reflects experience, like ano, which is yesterday. No is something spent. So ano is something you've already spent, which is your yesterday. Then we have oni. What is ni in Yoruba? Ni is something you possess, something you own. So oni is something you own, something that belongs to you, which is your today, something you can control, your today. And ola is from the word la. La, what is la? To open, opening something, which means your future, something that is open, something you don't know what it's going to be like, but it's open for changes, it's open for growth, it's open for possibilities. So that's how the Yorubas measure time, basically. And we have the traditional measurements of time, like the moon cycles, the sun, the season, and the human activities that were going on in the society. Historically, the Yorubas had a 4-day week, which was related to different deities and Orisha. And sometimes it was 5 days. So it was not a fixed system. There was no, oh, it's only 4 days you have in a week, or oh, it's only 5 days. It was based on whatever was going on in the society at the moment. What's new festival? What's season? Is it raining a lot? Is it dry? Is it time to celebrate like a new season? Is Are different crops blooming? Is there a festival for a god? Those were the things that were going to determine like the measurement of the, and also the season and the weather and everything. Those are the things that are going to determine the period of how we measure time in the olden days Yoruba land. So then let's go on to the Igbos. So the Igbo's concept of time is fundamentally cyclical and event-based. It is rooted in nature, community rituals, and human life stages. In contrast with the Western linear time, the Igbos calculated time or saw time in contrast, they saw it in relation to the events that were going on around them, such as the market days, the festivals, the seasons, rather than a precise clock hour, as in rather than a precise time is 12, is 1, is 2. No, not that, It was based on actual lived experience. So daily, time was divided into broad segments like morning. I cannot pronounce a lot, but I'm going to try. We have Ututu morning. I'm pronouncing this the way I would pronounce the Yoruba word, which I know is wrong. So I'm sorry if anyone is offended. I'm going to try to leave the words up so you can actually see the proper way to like write them, even with my bad pronunciation. So we have Ututu morning, we have Eye afternoon, Mbede evening, and Abali night. I just know I butchered this. Oh my god. So weekly, it was based on four main market day. The Eke, or is it Eke? Because I hear every Eke market day, so maybe Eke, Orire, Afo, Nkwo. I, I feel like I'm butchering this. I'm going to put these words all up. Forming shorter Izunta, like probably like shorter days and shorter cycles, basically, and longer cycles, which is Uzu Uku, influencing trade and social life. Then we have the Hausas. Pre-colonial Hausa time wasn't just linear; it was blended into time, into rituals, into season. Just the same with a lot of other pre-colonial Nigerian societies, right? With a sense of the past, Zamani, and present future, Sasa, rooted in their agrarian trading life, structured by Islamic calendar, Ijiri, and local traditions, emphasizing community cycles, not just clock time, with significant historical epochs marked by powerful city-states like Kanu and Katsina before the British imposition. So, Zamani and Sasa, while influenced by African philosophies, the Hausa understood time as moving from the past into timelessness. And the future, Sasa, into timelessness. Zamani, towards the present, experiencing future, and Sasa, rather than a simple past to future line. So I also researched some other tribes like the Ijaws. For Ijaw people, the pre-colonial concept of time wasn't a linear clock-based system. Same with almost every pre-colonial Nigerian society. It was also still based on what's it called, on the weather, the season, the activities that was going on in the culture at the moment. So it was deeply tied to natural cycles like seasons, tides, fishing, ancestral narratives, migration, and cyclical events like festivals, emphasizing continuity, deep history, and decentralized community life, rather than rigid dates, focusing on when things happen in relation to natural phenomenon and communal memory. Basically, they calculated time based on, when is this happening? When did it happen? When is it going to happen? Something like that. Not, oh, we are doing this specifically at 3 a.m. on so day. That was not literally how it was, if you get what I'm saying. So before colonialization, the thief concept of time wasn't based on linear abstract clock also. It was deeply tied to an agrarian cycle and the 5-day market system, and lineage based up also, focusing on cyclical events like planting, harvesting, and community gatherings, with history understood through oral tradition and lineal lineage and ancestral lineage rather than fixed dates, emphasizing continuity and cyclical renewal within their decentralized society. That was basically how the Ijoris calculate time. And then we have the 5-day market cycle, Akpali. The market held every 5 days acted as a crucial temporary anchor for trade social interactions, and news dissemination, creating a consistent rhythm for daily life. So, we've been able to look into how some pre-colonial Nigerian society handled time and how time was measured. And for the last one, let's look into how the Fulanis measured time. So, the Fulanis measured time pretty similarly to the Hausas in the sense of the use of Sasa and Zamani, as in Sasa is the now, Zamani is the past, and the future as emergence. The future wasn't a fixed point, but unfolded from the past, from the present, sorry. It gained reality only as it entered the Sasa. Like the future only was important in reality as it enters the now, which is the present, basically. So, how did colonialism disrupt these systems? So online, I saw people try something about a fake mic, and I want to try it out. Like I want to see if this is going to help our sound quality get better. So give me a minute. I'm going to try to connect like a earphone to it to like use the earphone speaker to make it work. Sorry. So we're going to use this as the speaker. So this is going to be our full mic at the moment. So let's continue our recording. So colonialism disrupted all of this, right? The colonial government introduced 9 to 5 work structures, hierarchical workplaces, productivity based worth, morality tied to work shame around idleness, measurement of value through output. The British favored hardworking natives who followed rules, worked without complaint, and showed discipline. Rest, by extension, became linked with laziness, unseriousness, or disobedience. Generations later, Nigerians inherited a national mindset. Working equals virtue, resting equals laziness. The post colonial identity crisis. After independence, Nigeria fought to prove itself as a serious, hardworking, progress oriented nation, often continuing colonial productivity systems without questioning them. Parents who grew up during the oil boom and later recessions internalized the message: you survive by working, not by resting. How dare you rest? They taught the same to their children. Rest guilt is now a generational inheritance. Nigeria's economy is unstable, unpredictable, and often unforgiving. In such an environment, rest equals risk. Survival culture. From dawn, Nigerians are working. Sellers open shops before sunrise, 5 a.m. in the morning. People have opened shop 6, 7 a.m. depending on the area you live in. Drivers are on the road by 5 a.m. Motorbikes are everywhere. People are ready to go on their full work day. Traders also till late in the night. Parents run multiple jobs. Children run errands constantly. In a high pressure society where unemployment and inflation are constant threats, you cannot afford to be seen as idle, lazy, not hardworking. You know? The environment teaches if you rest too much, you fall behind. If you slow down, you suffer. If you don't hustle, you go starve. Rest becomes a luxury reserved for the rich or the lucky. Now only rich person feel rest. Me I go hustle. Me I for hustle die. It becomes the new mantra of the average person living in Nigeria. Also culture as an armor. When a society is unstable, people cling to work as a shield. Working provides identity, creates hope, gives illusion of control, offers social respect. Rest, however, becomes suspicious. People even brag about being tired as a badge of honor. Because telling somebody, I've been working so hard, I've not slept in days, is seen as confirm. Nah, person where they work be that. Rather than, oh, I got tired, so I slept. You did what? That's lazy. How dare you sleep? How dare you feel tired? As if you're a machine, as if you as if your system, your body does not deserve rest. Even machines break down if they overwork. Not to talk of you with your human body that constantly needs fuel 3 times a day and needs a full 8 hour cycle to be able to recover and rest properly. But let's go on. Then we're talking about the no rest in this household mentality. Thou shalt not rest. Thou shalt work and hustle. So many Nigerians grew up in households where rest was policed. The hyper strict parent model. In many homes, sitting down equals laziness, napping equals unseriousness, watching TV equals uselessness, closing your door suspicious, waking up late equals to disrespect, being idle equals trouble. As they would say, the idle hand is the devil's workshop. Parents shout, "Go and find something to do. Are you jobless? Ha, you are sleeping by this time. Hmm. How will you succeed? Are you seeing your mates? Are you seeing what they are doing with their life and with their time? Is it not the same 24 hours that you people have?" Or what more do they say, guys? Drop them in the comment section. The different iteration of this that you guys have heard. So let's continue. As children, we learn early. Resting gets you scolded. If you grew up as a firstborn or eldest child, basically, especially an eldest daughter, you are the responsible one. Or if you grew up as the first child, especially the eldest daughter, or the responsible child, in quotes, you had no time to rest. You learned how to cook, clean, take care of your siblings, run errands, manage crises, handle emotional labor, do all sort of things, and the rest becomes a it's not for me. Other people can rest, not me. Adulthood arrives and you still cannot rest without feeling guilty. Even when those responsibilities are not in your neck anymore, you feel like you still need to constantly work. You still need to constantly do something to prove yourself, to prove like resting becomes a mm-mm, it's lazy to do for you. Many African parents use work to teach discipline, but it often crosses into overworking children, guilt tripping them for resting, tying their worth to productivity, and punishing downtime. By adulthood, your nervous system is conditioned to panic when you're not busy. And I feel like this also like ties into your life and the quality of life you get as an adult because if you are someone that has already been wired to constantly feel like you need to be productive, like genuinely for me, I'm not putting the blame on my parents or just anyone here. I'm just saying that for me, resting sometimes feels guilty. Like the thought of just lying down and closing your eyes, like in the period that you were doing this, there are so many other things you could have done. That's kind of what like my inner voice is telling me, like, oh, so you are sleeping. Your mates are making money, you're sleeping. Everyone else is moving on in their life, you are sleeping, you are resting. It becomes a thing where even just sleeping, sometimes you even feel guilty for sleeping for 8 hours if you manage to be able to sleep for 8 hours because even all these other books, all these so-called um motivational books will be telling you, oh, billionaires only sleep for 2 hours every night, and you're like, no, I have to work hard. I have to work hard. I cannot sleep, which is such. If you don't sleep, you're going to get sick. You are going to get sick. Rest is important. So let's move on into our deep dive into today's topic. Um, then we also have religion and morality and the fear of laziness. In in the religions in Nigeria, which is the two dominant religion in Nigeria, Christianity and Islam. The one I can speak for is Christianity, right? So there are biblical teachings that tell you a little sleep and poverty will overtake you. He who does not work should not eat. And those verses are often quoted. But no one is quoting God rested on the 7 days because he did rest and the Bible says so. So no one is quoting that. Why not? And come on to me and I will give you rest. They are not quoting that also. They are just quoting the walk, watch and pray. Walk, walk, walk and pray. Walk, walk, walk and pray. You know? Like people, how would I put it? Also in some parts, in some sects of the religion, suffering is glorified. Like you are encouraged to work hard, to suffer, which is exactly a culture forms where rest becomes morally questionable and suffering becomes a sign of righteousness. Um, let's move on to community expectations, as in be useful. In Nigerian society, a person's contribution is judged based on if you are actively helping, working, contributing, serving, and running errands. If you are not doing all of if you're not doing all of that, you are wasting potential. People ask, "What are you doing now? Do you have a new job? What are you working on?" Nobody is asking, Did you rest well? Are you overwhelmed? How do you recharge? Mm-mm. That's not part of the language. That's not part of the lingo. The lingo is reproductive. Have value. Prove your value. For women, rest guilt is even worse because a Nigerian woman must work, clean, cook, host, serve, obey, smile, bend, nurture. If she rests like this, she don't become lazy be that oh. That's laziness. A woman must not sleep too much. You have to take care of the household. You spoil. You are going to you're not nurturing your own well. If you sleep and rest, if you become lazy, you cannot nurture your family. You cannot pour into your family the way you should. You are not giving enough for your family. And then we have school trauma, which is basically the foundation for this rest anxiety apart from home. Home is one, religion is another, but then school, school is one very big one people don't even think about in the sense that your syllabus is overfilled. Even as a young child, you're doing many subjects. Like, especially if you're in a junior school, you're doing what? In my junior school, I was doing 16 subjects and more, even. So people even do more. And your syllabus is overloaded. You have so much assignments to do. You have morning classes, afternoon classes, lesson afterwards. You will still study afterwards. If you're going to a boarding school, night prep, holiday homework for everyone, extra lessons. Like there's just so much to do. You know, you can never do enough. Rest is a threat to your academic survival, because how can you be resting if you stay back and you don't study and grind? You're not going to succeed. Basically, you're not going to do well. You need to constantly be in those books, you know. And with all of that, there's almost no time for rest. There's almost no time to take a step back, to look, to refresh, to revive. Basically, there is also the comparison culture, and now that becomes an inner monologue. Did you see what Tola did? Tola got first position. You, what are you doing with your life? Your mates are reading, you are watching TV. How dare you? You know, rest becomes an act of rebellion. It becomes something that you genuinely have to like do, and will probably get you punished if you do, or get you scolded, or get you just, anyways. The 24/7 hustle culture. The internet makes Nigerians feel behind constantly. I feel the internet makes anybody feel behind constantly, you know? Motivational speakers preach. Sleep is for the weak. Work now, rest later. Hmm. When you are resting, somebody else they grind. You know, unhealthy also culture becomes the aspiration. People see their peers succeeding, people your age becoming rich, people your age achieving things, getting accolades, getting accomplishments, and in all of that, you start feeling the pressure on you. You start feeling like you're cooked in a pressure cooker, basically. Like you have to also be just as productive. You have to be just as inspiring. You have to be just as motivational. You have to be just as influencing, basically. Then we have the hypervigilance, the conditioned hypervigilance. When you grow up in chaos, financial instability, strict homes, unpredictable parents, your body develops hypervigilance. You cannot relax without fear. Rest becomes risky, unsafe, guilt provoking, unfamiliar. Your nervous system is already prepared for danger, criticism, punishment. So when you're resting, is like, when is the other shoe going to drop? Your senses are on high alert. Like, waiting will happen next, waiting will shele, like the shame of unproductive rest. Most Nigerians only allow themselves to pray, work, help, study, also make money. Resting that is not productive, just such as just lying down, doing nothing. Daydream itself feels like a chore. It feels like something wrong, like you're offending someone. So people even say, oh, I let me just do hobbies. And even the hobbies have to be productive. Even the hobbies have to be something that is adding to your life, which is not, it's no longer fun if you cannot just do something because you want to do it. If the productiveness, if the value something is adding to your life is still going to be measured in your hobbies, then is it actually something fun? No, it's still work, basically. It's still work. If you're resting, you're lying down, you are replying emails, you are researching your next content, you're doing all this, that's not rest. You are still working. You know? Rest guilt hurts us because it leads to burnout, anxiety, depression, chronic fatigue, low creativity. Because when you're burnt out, you cannot be as creative as you would be on a normal sense. You know, it leads to self-worth issues. Like you never feel enough. You always feel like you're behind. You always feel like you have to work extra harder. Something that is also not talked about is the illnesses that you can get from stress. Because people just see stress as, I'm stressed. Yes, you're stressed, but that's not all stress can do to you. Stress actually. alters a lot in our body. There are certain illnesses that you can get, some only from stress even, and some stress is just another thing that could cause them. We have illnesses like high blood pressure or hypertension. Stress hormones tighten your blood vessels and keep your heart working harder over time. This becomes consistent high blood pressure. People talk about this, but not enough. Stomach ulcers or gastritis or both. Stress increases stomach acid and weakens the stomach lining, leading to burning pain, nausea, bloating, belching. And as someone that has experience, I can tell you it's not fun, man. It's not fun. Your life condition drastically feels like life drastically feels not so fun if you're dealing with these conditions. Like, yes, you have your good days, but the bad days are bad, you know? Then we have IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. Stress affects digestions and gut nerves, causing cramps, diarrhea, constipation, bloating, excessive gas. Then we have migraines and chronic headaches. Stress triggers tightening of muscles in the head or neck and changes brain chemical, leading to tension headaches, severe migraines, or like cluster headaches. Then we have insomnia and sleep disorders. Stress keeps your body in alert mode. This leads to difficulties falling asleep, shallow sleeping, waking up tired, nightmares, dis- disordered sleeping. I also have experience with this. Like, there was a time period where I was so stressed. Like, I was so stressed and I stressed myself out so much that I couldn't even fall asleep. Like, I was so stressed that I couldn't sleep, which is so, like, it's such a crazy exercise. When you're stressed, normally you would sleep. I couldn't. It felt like almost a torture, you know. I'll sometimes just close my eyes, lay down. 3 hours, 4 hours is passing, the sleep is not coming. And obviously, as someone that is addicted to working, you get up and you say, oh, let me just do something else instead. So sleep is not coming, which makes you just more stressed, you know? And just, guys, drop your comments, like, in the drop your experience in the comment section. I want to know, like, how has rest guilt affected you? How has stress personally like affected you? I'm really curious in knowing. So guys, put me in into some of your experiences and let's continue. So we have heart diseases like long-term stress increases inflammation, chlore- cholesterol, blood pressure, and this increases risk of heart attacks, irregular heartbeats, cardiovascular diseases, and so many more. Then we have a weakened immune system. Stress reduces immunity, so you get sick easily. Colds, infections, slow wound healing, like, could be because of stress. Then we have diabetes, type 2, diabetes aggravation. Stress spikes cortisol, which raises blood sugar and increases diabetic risk of worsening. Stress spikes cortisol, which raises blood sugars, and this increases the risk of diabetes or worsens already existing diabetes. Chronic pain conditions. Stress can trigger or worsen back pain, muscle tension, fibromyalgia, neck or shoulder pain, and so many more. Hormonal imbalance. Stress disrupts hormone, causing irregular periods, painful periods in women, worsened PMS, low libido, even. And then we have anxiety and panic disorder. Stress can develop into clinical conditions, which is such as generalized anxiety, panic as attacks, social anxiety, obsessive thinking. Yeah, can relate to all of those. Then we have depression. Chronic stress exhausts the brain's emotional center, and this can lead to numbness, sadness, loss of interest, fatigue, withdrawal. Even your skin condition can get worse because of stress. Autoimmune disease flares also. Like, if you already have an autoimmune condition, Stress can worsen it, basically. Even your memory problems, stress can affect them, and just so many more. Like, we actually don't know the danger we are putting ourselves in sometimes when we just refuse to rest, because there are so many conditions that rest alone can help make better. So, relearning rest now, because we've talked about the problem, we talked about the cause, we have to talk about the solution. We need to learn that rest is survival, not luxury. Rest is something you need. Your body is not a machine. Rest is a fuel that you need. The same way you eat to function, you need to rest to function. We need to untangle the internal voices too, which is definitely not going to be hard. And this is where I would say, for those of you that still think therapy is scam, what are you doing here? I mean, some of us cannot all afford to see professional therapists, but I feel like we should strive towards saving up to see one. And also, we should also try to communicate with our friends and family around us, or at least people that you can trust, because they definitely help, you know, make things better. At least be able to talk to somebody to offload sometimes to people around you that you trust can help. No, if not, if you cannot, afford to see a therapist, basically, because we need to like untangle the internal voices, the voice that tells you, why are you resting, why are you sitting, why are you not hustling, why are you not working. Ask yourself, like, is that me, or is that just a parent's voice, is that just a teacher's voice, is that just society, you know is that actually how you feel, you know and we need to work, on untangling that, basically. Then we have slow rest introduction. You should introduce rest into your daily schedule, little by little. You know, get some. You can start with something as simple as, oh, no phone. For a period of time. Oh, compulsory 10 minutes of rest in certain time of your day when you can afford to. Oh, no productivity. Like, don't do anything for a certain period of time. I know that's hard, but genuinely, like, you need it. We need it in our lives. Tell yourself sometimes, let's just take a bit of time out. It could also even be going to watch nature, because nature is one of the things that relaxes you the best in this world. And luckily for us, Nigeria is a beautiful country with many nice forestry and greenies around. You're in connection with nature. You can work out to connect to nature. I mean, if you don't live in the city, I guess. Like, teach your nervous system that rest can also be safe, if you get what I'm saying. We deserve rest. We deserve it. Genuinely. Even if we're not raised to believe that we deserve rest, we do deserve rest. Rest is something that has been weaponized against us, right? As growing up in Nigeria, in your environment, everything around you. But it still doesn't mean that we should also allow ourselves to see rest as the enemy. No. I'm not saying don't work. Please, like, I used to say, you guys, don't hear what I'm not saying. I'm not saying don't be productive. I'm not saying don't want to strive better to do better for your life. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying don't want better for yourself. No. What I'm just saying is, even in all of that, still learn to find time periods to prioritize rest. Because if you keep working so hard and you burn out, you get stressed, you get sick from all of that, then what is then everything you're working at for, you won't even be able to enjoy it because you're sick. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? If in case you've been wondering, oh, is she saying we should not work anymore, we should just be sleeping all day? No, that's not what I'm saying. I must Balance is everything in life. Balance, work, life balance, rest balance. You cannot just wake up and just say you are sleeping the whole day. Come on, like, you need to at least get up to make your meal to eat that day, and you cannot just wake up and say you're working the whole day. You're going to crash out. You're going to burn from all of the stress. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to say, oh, don't work. No. What am I? Even me, am I also? I'm also resting and working and trying my best. live life the way it is. Like I'm not just basically I'm not a motivational speaker. Anyways, in conclusion, many Nigerians carry rest guilt like a second skin, but guilt does not make you stronger. It only keeps you in survival mode. It only makes you sick, sad, worry, basically. So let's learn to give ourselves time to rest. Rest is not the opposite of success, you know. Rest is the foundation of clarity, creativity, and a long life, a long lasting healthy life. And I understand genuinely that as Nigerians, there are many other things that shaped our society, like the hardness that comes with being Nigerian, the unemployment, the lack of electricity, the lack of like the inflation basically, the lack of funds and all of these things that just makes us feel like we have to constantly work. And I'm not trying to say that anybody that constantly work is bad, evil or whatever. No. In fact, I feel like hardworking people should always be respected, right? But even in all of that, we should also find time to give ourselves breaks for our own benefit in the long run, for your health, for your own life, for your happiness, for everything that is important to you. Like learn to breathe even in all the chaos, because that's the only thing we can do for ourselves. There are many things that are already out of our control as Nigerian. Rest is something that we can control. Rest is something that we can actually give to ourselves. So once in a while, let's aspire to give ourselves those to give ourselves that. So thank you for watching TJ's You today. And I know that it's been a while. I know it really. I also know that things are also different. We are moving into a new year. There's a new everything going on, and yeah. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for understanding. Thank you for your comments, for your likes, for your support. Thank you so much for everything. Genuinely, like I cannot even like describe how grateful I am for you guys as as my audience. So thank you so much. And as I said, the new things that are going to be going on. Just update you guys once more. There's going to be album reviews for for like many days. I might not be like sitting down in this setting to record. I mean, you guys have seen my room, so you know that there's I could turn the camera elsewhere. I guess I'm just going to find a way to make sure that I could possibly make sure that I update you guys on the album reviews. If you watch up to here and you have albums that you want me to review by Nigerian artists, whether they're in Nigeria or in the diaspora, test it. Drop it in the comment section. You guys know my Instagram. DM basically. Tell me, oh, Shay Vibes album. Can you Udmo's album? Can you who else dropped album? Devil's album. Can you like I got you guys. Like let's do something fun because I know that we usually it's pretty serious around here, but I'm not just a serious person. Like I'm also fun. I feel like this album Psycho Teen might get me cancelled. Oh god, because genuinely warning to you guys. I'm not like a very, very big like Afrobeat listener. I love Afrobeat with my life. Come on. That's what I grew up with. And I listen to Afrobeat a lot, but Afrobeat is probably the genre I listen to like the least. I listen to many genres, like many. And I'm big into listening to different kind of music, and I do have the Afrobeat artists that I support, just like we all do. So I guess, don't worry, though. As you guys know, I like being fierce, so I won't be biased. If I'm reviewing an artist that is my favorite, I'll let you guys know off the bat that this is my person. So you guys know that anything I say, maybe a bit of bias will enter, but anyways. And also, if you are someone that is easily offended, maybe you should not join us in that series because me, I'm not going to spear through to anything I see that I don't like. I'm going to tell you people. Like if I don't like a song, I don't like it. And yes, I also know that sometimes circumstances change how you view a music. Maybe with time you like it more, or just any other thing, or maybe you experience the music in a situation you love, and then you suddenly feel a new love for the music. Oh, the story is getting long. Sha, thank you for joining us today, guys. Bye, and thank you for today. Mwah.